Hi, this is Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I've been trying to get this done for you for weeks now, but it just has not worked out. This is a little turkey that is very versatile. You can use them as a pin. There's some purple felt on there. You can use them as a magnet, or you can use them as an ornament, however you want to do it. Very simple, and not a ton of work goes into these because you're not beading the entire surface. Now these are the ones I did 20 years ago. This little guy, I think he's been through the washing machine on one of my shirts. And back then I did the feet in seed beads. And you can do that if you want, or bugle beads. And I did the little beak in seed beads as well. I don't know if you can see that, but these two, and it's cute, but I just don't like how it held up over the years. And these are very old. This one I use every year on my fridge, and this one is a pin that I've worn for years as well. So I made a couple new ones. Now, traditionally, I've stitched them together with a blanket stitch. And you can use any kind of stitch you're comfortable with. Here I used a little tiny gold sequin, which I can't find now, or I would have done it for my video. And a little tiny sequin here. I think those were 4, and all the rest were 5s. On my original one, here you can see I didn't even have red. I just had the brown and orange, and then I added red in between them. So I did one with the traditional edging that I do on my ornaments, and one like this. So it really depends on your taste, which one you prefer. Now, because you don't always have the same cookie cutter that I have, I did a couple others. This is another cookie cutter I did here, and then here is another one I did. So you can do any cookie cutter with this. So here I'm going to show you how I do, I'm going to take a blank one and show you how to start this. And basically you can use any color thread you want. On my original ones, you can see I used white thread. And you can't tell, really. You can see it a little bit around the edges, but this is very old. This is probably 20 years old. This one I had managed to get my hands on a gold colored thread, because I started getting some of the colors of beading thread back then. They had the small white spools, and I had a gold, and I got a green and a red, and I got a blue, and slowly they came out with more and more colors. The gold was one of the first I got, and I really liked it on this ornament, but you can use white to stitch it, and it'll be just fine, because you will not see it really on the fronts of, and these are very worn. I mean, this has been, I think this went through the washer at least once on one of my shirts, and it hung in there. It's just a little worn, but these are what they look like, shiny and new. And try not to put them through the washer, because it really does affect them. And if you want to use seed beads for the feet, you can. But you can also just do regular size sequins. For this new one I did today, where's the one I did today? I just used one for the beak, because when you bead around it, it kind of fills it in a little bit. But if you're able to get the little tiny ones, then you can use 3 of them, and it looks really nice. So, trying to get the lighting better. Again, I'm not in here until late. I babysit my granddaughter during the day, and I just can't get in here till in the evening, and I don't like the lighting in the evening at all. It really makes it dark, and I do apologize, but I knew this was the last day I could get in here before Thanksgiving and give you time if you wanted to make one. So basically what I did is I took a cookie cutter and an ink pad, stamped out my cookie cutter onto felt, and cut it out. Now if you have a die cutter and you have a turkey design, that's even better. But I cut them out by hand, and I did it in gold and I did it in brown. I have 2 of the gold cut out, but decided to do one in brown in case you didn't have gold felt. This is a light brown felt. So you're going to basically take for this I'm going to use the gold. You're going to take and tie a knot in the at the end of your thread, and you're going to pick which, I'm just going to use brown for whatever I show you. I tend to do the little gobble thing down here. I always call it a gobble gobble to my grandkids and kids. But that little red thing that hangs down, and I know it can go over too, so you could actually put a little red above and around the nose if you wanted. I may try that sometime, but so far I've just done that. And then you're going to grab, I'm going to get a couple sequins and seed beads out to show you. You're going to grab your sequin, and these are cupped sequins. Now if you use flat sequins, then this doesn't matter. But for cup sequins, you're going to put it cup side down. And you're going to stab it from the back like that. So when you pull it up, the cup is up. Then you're going to put your little seed bead on there and pull it down. But before you go through it, center it. Use the needle to center it. And do not go back through the seed bead. Just go through the sequin. That seed bead holds it on. Now you're going to continue up, putting them as close as you can, and it takes about 3 on the average turkey. On all of my cookie cutters, it was right about 3. This one was 4 because it was a little longer, but I probably could have, this one was a little longer, but I probably could have cut it off there, and if I had it to do over, that's what I would do. I did cut out a different one too. This is another turkey I cut out, which has a totally different look to it. That one's completely different. And that one I probably would do red around like that and then just do his little nose and beak. But I just wanted to show you that you don't have to use a specific cookie cutter. I only had one of these left. I know I have 4, but I can't find it, and I can't find this cookie cutter that I used to do these. I don't know where it went. It's here somewhere. But anyway, so you're going to continue. I usually do this first. And then I do the little beak, and then I stop. And sometimes I'll do the feet too, the beak and the feet. Then I'll do the brown all the way around, outline the wing, and then I'll do the red and then the orange. And you can do those in any order you want. Here I obviously did orange and then never added red. I don't really know why. But each one's a little different. Like this one has a much simpler tail. He doesn't have as long or as big a tail. Every cookie cutter is a little different. And once it's all done, you're going to sew it together. And I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. I show you this on every video, but I'm going to show you again just so you know. So let me find the one I had. There it is, right here. And so I'm going to get the thread and show you how to stitch it together. And I'll just cut it off the one I just did and tie another knot and show you how you stitch it together once it's done. Now I go in between, I pick an easy spot, I line it up very carefully, and if you're cutting these out by hand, they're never going to match up perfect. Just get them matched up as close as you can. Like see right there, you can see the back is a little bit, but that's okay, because when you stitch it together, unless it's really bad, just leave it. Just leave it. And if there's a little bit of extra felt, that's okay too, because you'll be stitching it together. So I'm going to start at a flat area so it's easy to show you. And you're just going to come up. Now, I don't do it as deep as I do on the sequined ornaments because you're going to see it. You tuck your knot in. Then you're going to go from behind and make a loop. It's the same thing you do on the beaded ornaments. And you're going to have a little circle there. I know this lighting's terrible. And then you're going to string on, and I'm going to use these big brown beads on this one because it's not a gold, it's a brown. And also these are bigger beads. And you're going to go right next to that circle you did. And then after you get the 3 beads on, you're going to go up through the last one, and you're going to pull it, and that will make a little triangle. Don't worry about it flipping around, because when you close it off, which I'm going to show you in a minute, you'll catch that first bead. But after you get the first 3 on, then you only have to add 2 at a time. And you'll put 2 beads on, and you'll go as close as you can, and you'll pull it and go back up through the last one again, and you'll keep making that triangle all the way around. You can change to red beads here if you want, gold around the beak and the feet, or you can do the whole thing in one color. It's really personal. I tend to, do the different beads around it to match, but you don't have to. In fact, the old ones, I didn't even put beads around it. I didn't even think to do that. So you don't have to. You can do, if you like doing a blanket stitch, you can just do a simple blanket stitch around it and call it a day. This is a brand new one I did with a blanket stitch. It looks very nice. So, now, once you've got it beaded almost all the way around, you're almost to the end. I'm going to show you how to finish it. Now, you're going to have the last bead you've come through, and then you're going to have that first bead that you came through, the one I told you might flip a little bit sideways. Well, you're going to get to the end and you're going to find that bead. And see, it's kind of upside down there. So I'm going to get the needle and pull it. It's wanting to flip. I'm going to pull it down. First I'm going to put one bead. Well, this is gold, so I'm going to pick up one of my gold beads, because I use gold on this one. Let me pick up a bead from my tray over here. Okay. And then I'm going to get that bead to flip back. And then I'm going to go through that and come through the back of the piece. And that will make the little triangle. That's not working out right. I don't know what I did wrong. But I'm just going to, I can't figure out what I just did wrong. But anyway, you're going to make that little triangle, and then you're going to come through. And what I do is, I don't know what I did wrong on here, but you're basically going to go through the first hole you did, the first bead, and the last bead. You're going to add a bead on top to make that last triangle, is what you're doing. And then when you come back through, you're going to go around and around and around, like kind of knotting it, but just going in circles. Then you're going to go the other direction, and then one more time that direction. That'll hold it tight. And then if you want to do a loop on it, because these are fun to hang on your hutch drawers and stuff like that, you're going to put a knot. You're going to come up behind the sequins, and you're going to go in to a bead. I don't know if you can see that there, but I came up through that bead and strung on all the seed beads, and then went over the triangle and back down through the last bead, the next bead, and then I'll show you how to do that knot. And this is all you do, is and you can knot it, like you can go through the loop and actually knot it. I usually do that maybe once, but I just go around and around, whoops, and around. And I do that. And now look at, this is what happens. You got to watch it. It'll catch on the loop sometimes. So just make sure you catch it so you don't pull it tight. And after you get it 2 or 3 times that direction, then you can go this direction and do it 2 or 3 times. And I always tell you in these videos, if you feel better, put a dab of glue on it. But see, I caught it again. It's real easy to do. These loops can be a pain, I'm telling you. But anyway, you go around a couple times and then you cut it off. I have never had one unravel, but if you feel better, you can always put a dab of glue on it. And that's what it looks like as an ornament. And I added, this one didn't have a foot on it, so I just added a little bit of gold to be a foot. I could have cut a foot out, and maybe I messed up with the cookie cutter. And no, there was no foot. There was no foot on that cookie cutter. Now that's much more ornate than I did. But it's all how you want to do it. If you want to put, you could do all those lines with seed beads and make it really fancy if you wanted to. But I just like to keep it simple. It's just a little sparkly fun thing. You can give it as a hostess gift when you go to someone's home. You can hang it on your rearview mirror during the holidays. Because we all hang stuff for Christmas, but it gives you a little something, or on a hutch drawer, or on a lampshade, pretty much anything. You can even put a clasp on here. Once in a while, when I make them for the car mirrors, I'll put a magnetic clasp on. And when I do that, then I just make it a little bit longer, and I clasp it over the rearview mirror, and it works out great. But anyway, let me show you all the different ones again, so you can get an idea that you can use any cookie cutter to do this. I kind of like this little one. It's simpler, but it's cute. And then, like I said, you can do the edging around it, or you can do a simple blanket stitch. Both of them look great. When I polled people, it was kind of split 50-50. Half like this, half like that. So anyway, just a quick little Thanksgiving ornament that I thought I'd show you. And I hope you liked this video. And I do have some more lined up for you. I'm just trying to figure this out with a baby that does not like me to do work when she's here. And a refrigerator that died that we're dealing with too. So we had kind of a busy week. But I do have another one lined up for you that I'll get done. And I found my polar bear cookie cutter as well. And I promised a subscriber that I will be doing a polar bear as well. So I thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I didn't quite do as much detail as normal, but the main things are use beading thread, not sewing thread. Even if you can only find white at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, you can buy wonderful beading thread online at Amazon, and I'm sure on eBay and Etsy as well. And it's not terribly expensive, and you can just buy a color at a time, or you can buy groups of colors too. But beading thread is much sturdier, and these things, I mean, I'm telling you, these old ones, these are 25 years old, and the felt's looking a little worn, yeah. But they hold together. And if you do the pin, by the way, I just go back and forth like a figure 8. And do that before you stitch it together. I meant to talk to you about that. Come up through the middle, and then go around, and then up and around, and do that, and then go underneath, and keep doing that back and forth till you get it nice and sturdy. And that's how I do. And sometimes I'll crisscross over the top. Sometimes I don't. This one was glued on. Was not happy with that. I did that. That was a recent one. I tried to glue it, and look at, that's terrible. I wanted to see what gluing would do. It's terrible. Don't do it. Sew it. You'll be much happier. These are 25 years old. This one I made into a magnet. It never had a pin. I always had a magnet on it, and I put this on my fridge. But anyway, so I hope I covered everything. I'll be back soon, and thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching. Bye.